More on the latest out of Washington. Let's bring in Ed Mills, Managing Director and Washington Policy Analyst at Raymond James. Ed, didn't get the Supreme Court decision on tariffs. Guess we wait. Is the longer that this takes, the better for the administration because they can get their ducks in a row when it comes to backup options on tariffs if it doesn't go their way?
Sarah, the courts have been really accommodative to this administration. If you go back to April 2nd, there's been so many trade deals that have been struck that even if the Supreme Court strikes down the IEEPA tariffs, all of those stay in place. So normally when we've had court decisions in the past, what you say is, who has the greater harm if this stays in place? Normally, the greater harm is to the payer of the tariffs, not the government. The courts have continued to let President Trump do this. And so I'm not looking too much into whether it was today, whether it'll be a week from now, a month from now. I always go back to and tell clients at Raymond James, the Supreme Court might change the process. They're not going to change the outcome because we have so many deals struck, because we have the 232s in place, and we have so many other options for the president that he can pivot to. And they have been preparing that for weeks, if not months at this point, Sarah.
Yeah, and they're getting more time to do so. So what are you getting in terms of the vibe from your clients at Raymond James about how big of a deal this is potentially for investors, for the economy? Because as you say, they can just replace it. So what are the implications
for investors?
That at
Raymond James, the big debate has been, are there going to be refunds? Is there going to be the pivot? What we've told clients, the refund story is probably something that the Supreme Court does not rule on. The court was not asked about refunds, and so it probably is something that goes back to the Court of International Trade afterwards. That's why you saw retailers like Costco sue, trying to preserve their preference. And then it's also a race against the clock. And this is where the court, once again, could be giving the opportunity to the administration to run out the clock. Because when a person imports a good, they put up a bond. After about 9 months, they liquidate that bond. Once that is liquidated, you can't do refunds. There is a desire by the administration to drag this out so they don't have to pay the refunds. They get to keep the tariffs in place, and they can pivot to whatever other problems that they want to solve through all the other authorities that are there, Sarah.
Doesn't replacing IEEPA, though, with other forms of tariff, Ed, extend a period of trade uncertainty, of overall corporate uncertainty? Would that suppress activity in any way?
Yeah, it's a potential, and I think that's one of the concerns out there. But I get asked the question, are we at the high watermark for tariffs? And I would say yes. The weighted average is probably coming down from here. There is some uncertainty that comes with this, but it is not nearly the uncertainty that we had back April 2nd of last year, a variety of times last year. So to the extent that we know that there are going to be tariffs, to the extent that we know that the president is very focused on affordability, and what we've seen in the last couple of months is him taking away some of the tariffs, focusing on affordability, the market will be looking to see what happens there, more so than a fear that these tariffs, even if they change, are not going higher.
Right. Although his post about tariffs on countries that do business with Iran was just this week. I would imagine to the degree tariffs come off, you don't think it's going to be something that's linear.
Yeah, no, it's never linear with President Trump. And that is a great example of one of the other tools that he could have, that if he doesn't have IEEPA tariffs, one of the biggest trading partners with Iran is China. So if the IEEPA tariffs come off, probably the biggest winner are some exports out of China. The quickest way of changing back and getting the same rate is doing those secondary sanctions. He has other authorities as well, but it shows you the tools in the toolkit are here to make sure that the tariffs remain. The better story about China is that President Trump and Xi are likely to meet in April, and he's instructed his administration, do not have roadblocks to that meeting. This is a decent relationship right now. We don't anticipate significant flare-ups because he wants that meeting in April, and he wants to host Xi in November here in the United States.